Now, if you are a Trump-friendly Democrat, then there is another progressive group that has their sights set on you. Now, with 10 senators up for re-election in 2018 in states that Donald Trump won, including West Virginia, one progressive group is looking to replace him with populists. Now, imagine that. Imagine running a progressive against an establishment Democrat or a corporate Democrat. Sounds pretty appealing, right? Well, one of these groups is called We Will Replace You. And, well, I mean, the mission's pretty clear. And there are, of course, other groups out there, which I'll mention in a minute. But We Will Replace You is headed by somebody named Claire Sandberg, who is a co-founder of this political action committee. Now, she says, quote, "We will fundamentally reject the assumption that Democrats can only win in red states by pandering to racists and big bankers. The way we beat Trumpism and take back Congress and statehouses is offering a coherent vision to put our own to put people back to work. We don't need to completely compromise on our own values and principles." And I actually like this. Now, We Will Replace You is, of course, one of several different progressive groups that are threatening to primary corporate Democrats. Now, you also have the group Justice Democrats as well. Now, We Will Replace You is led by two former senior staffers from Senator Bernie Sanders' campaign. So, again, this is another group, along with Justice Democrats, that has former Bernie staffers involved. So, they might know something about whipping up progressives and getting them involved, which, again, is great. Now, the group's website has a warning for Democrats looking to avoid a primary. They say, "Do everything you can to resist Trump, or we will replace you with someone who will." Well, that's pretty simple. Now, the minimum qualifications to avoid that primary are these. Now, this is where I kind of disagree with them. They say voting against every Trump administration nominee, fighting against the confirmation of Judge Neil Gorsuch to the Supreme Court, being willing to slow down the legislative process to block the president's agenda, and pushing for the ouster of controversial chief strategist Stephen Bannon. Now, you might be asking, why would you disagree with any of that? Well, I don't. I don't disagree with any of that, but I just disagree that that has to be the minimum qualifications, because there's something really important that seems to be missing. Because, look, those qualifications right there, the minimum, it's actually a super high bar. And it doesn't involve the one thing that I think that should be a part of it. And on the high bar part, that's a bar that not even Bernie Sanders would hit. I mean, again, Sanders did vote to confirm 3 of Trump's cabinet picks: Homeland Security Secretary John Kelly, Defense Secretary James Mattis, and VA Secretary David Shulkin. So those were fairly non-controversial picks. Now, look, on the controversial picks, Betsy DeVos and some of the others that I'm blanking out on right now, well, those I can definitely go against. Rex Tillerson, Rick Perry for Energy Secretary, who just got confirmed today, by the way. Definitely vote against those people. But some of the other ones aren't quite as bad, or really weren't all that controversial to begin with. So you set that bar, well, nobody's going to meet that. So that's one of my criticisms. Now, on Gore Search, I actually completely 100% agree that you should block his ass. And I also agree that you should block a lot of Donald Trump's policy priorities. Of course. Because they're wrong. And they're terrible. Now, on Gore Search, a lot of people make the argument, hey man, that guy he's qualified. It doesn't matter how qualified he is. The guy could be Jesus Christ himself. And I would block him. Why? Because that's a stolen seat. 100%. You don't reward thieves. And that is a stolen seat. Plain and simple. Now, the main issue that I think that they missed here, and the main qualification, I think, is that they should not take corporate money. Do they take campaign money from super PACs? Well, this is a PAC. This is a political action committee that actually intends on doing some spending. So, look, if they're going to do that and then come out and say, we're spending money to support people who are going to get rid of money in politics, well, that'd be different. But I don't know. And another question they should be asking of these Democrats that they plan on primarying, did you get money from the bankers? Did you get money from multinational corporations? Because if you did, we're going to primary your ass. And that's it. That, I think, is the number one concern. Because I think what a lot of people miss here is that Trump is not the disease. Trump is the symptom of the disease. Trump is a result of neoliberal corporate-friendly policies passed by both Republicans and Democrats. Democrats like Joe Manchin, who, according to The Hill, is actually their top target, along with it being him being the Justice Democrats' top target. So great. Now, what puts them on the list? Or what puts Manchin on the list? Manchin has voted for more of Trump's nominees than any other Democrat, supporting all but 4. Not only that, but look, in my opinion, he votes pretty often with the Republicans, way too often. And he's in favor of things like Dakota Access and Keystone XL. He's pro-life and pro-gun. In fact, he's got an A rating for the NRA. At a time when we have more gun deaths from just regular people or toddlers picking up a gun than terrorists, there's something wrong with our gun laws. And he also made, and this is fascinating, the official rock of West Virginia, you want to know what that is? It's a coal rock. That's him. That's where his priorities are. I love coal, man. Coal is the best thing ever. And guns. And no abortions. That's Joe Manchin. Why is he a Democrat again? And it always burns my ass, literally. Well, not literally, but it always, or as a friend says, frost my cookies. Which, by the way, I absolutely love that saying. That there are Democrats out there that are like, Bernie Sanders, not a Democrat. He's not a Democrat, so why should we listen to what he says? Well, Joe Manchin votes with the Republicans. He is a Republican. He's a Democrat in name only, and yet he's considered more of a Democrat than Bernie Sanders. Fuck off. Fuck that bullshit. Now, I know, I get it. West Virginia, a little bit conservative, a little right wing, but look, even Republicans, even conservatives hate crony capitalism. They hate this big money in politics. They hate the fact that giant multinational corporations have more influence on the government than they do. They hate the special interests. Why not run on that? Any Democrat that is going to, run on, I love to take banker money, I love corporate money, needs to be primaried. End of story. You take big money, you're done, son. Because you don't represent us. You represent your donors. And unfortunately, that's what people like Joe Manchin stand for. He is a conservative corporate Democrat. And look, that doesn't necessarily mean that's going to play well in West Virginia. Maybe a progressive can't win there. Maybe it's just too right-wing. Maybe they love crony capitalism. Maybe they love the corporations. However, when you look at the evidence, Trump won. Trump ran against the corporate establishment. Yes, he's part of the corporate establishment. Yes, he is part of the 1%. But in the campaign trail, he ran against this. So maybe, I don't know, here's an idea. If you run as a populist, maybe you actually win. Now, Trump was a right-wing populist, which comes along with demagoguery, as well as some economic populism. And, when it comes to what brand of populism works better, left-wing populism is actually more effective because it doesn't rely on that demagoguery. It doesn't rely on that racism or nationalism. But it focuses more on economic and social justice. And look, if you run that way, you might, in West Virginia, you might lose the racists, but fuck those guys anyway. You don't need them. I think it's worth a try. So hell yeah, I want to see somebody either from the Justice Democrats or from this We Will Replace You group or any other progressive group. Do primaries primaries are worth a try. And thankfully, there are groups out there that are willing to challenge these corporate conservative Democrats. But there is one thing, as I keep saying, that is important to remember. This is not just about fighting Donald Trump. We also have to fight against the neoliberalism, the corporatism in our own party. If we're going to win, we've got to fight both, and we have to do it effectively. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.